Hi, it's Joanne with Gifts by Joanne. I'm going to do a basic makeup tutorial for my girlfriend Jessie. She asked me to do it. She was sick several years ago and she never really got back on her feet, and she just wanted some tips on what I do to cover up some flaws. And I had just done a previous video on how I do my hair, so you can go into my profile and look at that video if you want. And in the background I have playing my YouTube videos of music and all that legal stuff you have to consider when you're playing the music. Consider it. This music's not mine, but it helps motivate me and it helps me be creative and stay focused. Okay, so I want to say the first thing to do is light. So I have the light above, a light over here to my side. I want to show you the difference, okay? Then I have a light behind my mirror. It really makes a difference when you're looking and putting on concealer especially. And then I have this light that I got from the Dollar General that you can get in the As Seen on TV products, and it just helps add more light. So the first thing that I do is the primer. If I don't put the primer on, I break out. So this is e.l.f. that you can get. It's called Poreless Face Primer. This is the pink one. Oh, I got this one at the Dollar General. Okay, but they do sell it at Walmart. They also have one that's blemish control. They also have a blue one in a tube. They have several primers. But I keep buying this one. This is my go-to. I like it. So I already put it on. So I just take a little pump and then I just put it on. I get it really good around my nose because I don't want to break out. Really good under my eyes and any creases, you know, I just make sure that I get it really good all around my face. Okay? And then I let it dry, and then I start with the concealer. Like I said, if I skip this step, I break out more. Even though I'm an older woman, I still get acne. Okay, so the next step I'm going to do is my concealer. And I keep my makeup, I have a small area and I'm under construction. So my room is cluttered, my house is cluttered. So please excuse that. But in a small space, you know, I try to come up with ideas to put more of my stuff, to organize it. And this is a bag I bought from Shein. It's actually for your garden tools, but it seemed to work for my makeup. So I went ahead and put my makeup in here. This is maybe stuff I don't grab a lot. And then the stuff that I grab a lot, I put in this tackle box, and it's got 2 layers. And I set it over here on the bed, and then I can get to it easy. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you about my concealer. It's hard for me to find one that I like. Years ago, I used to use this Garnier concealer. It's called Clearly Bright, but I don't think they sell it anymore. If you really wanted it, you might find it on eBay because they have a lot of older products. But it had a roller ball and it went on really light, but it also has a formula in it to help with the dark circles, like a repair product. I don't know what, but I really liked it because it went on light. Being an older woman, when I use a heavier concealer, it's gonna get stuck in the creases, so I have to use a light formula, and I really like this. Okay, but it's not readily available, so I wasn't going to show you that one. Okay, so then I found this one at Sally's Beauty Supply called Collab. This one is called Porcelain, and I loved it. Then they stopped selling it, but this one, it's a lightweight formula, and I really liked it because, like I said, it doesn't get stuck in the creases. And but what good does it do if they don't sell it anymore? Maybe you can find this one too on YouTube. Maybe they sell it at another place, but Sally's stopped selling it. The color was porcelain, even though I consider my skin what I call caramel, which has some yellowy golden hues. They technically, I think they call it olive, but I don't see green, so I call it caramel. But this was called porcelain, which tends to be more of your fair skinned people, and I'm a medium people, or a beige, a warm beige maybe is more what my skin is. And then there's the darker shades. Maybe the darker Hispanics and Asians, maybe they're more olive. So I'm in between. I'm in between a fair, a light color, and a little hint of olive, making it in between. So it's kind of hard for me to find the right concealer. But then I went to Shein, you know, the Chinese store, and I got this SheGlam concealer, and it's called, let me get my glasses, Hideaway Full Coverage Concealer. And the color is warm vanilla, and it has 1% caffeine in it, which I guess the caffeine helps to, let's see, your glam future is looking bright, all thanks to our Hideaway Full Coverage Concealer. This creamy skin loving liquid color correcting concealer covers what you want while treating your skin right. Infused with sodium hyaluronate, glycerin, and more, it helps support the skin barrier and keeps moisture locked in, so coverage looks smooth, fresh, non-caking. Made with nourishing shea butter, jojoba, seed oil, and macadamia root oil. It melts into the skin with a comfortable, flexible finish. Caffeine and another word, niacinamide, helps brighten the under eye area and soften the look of dullness, leaving your complexion looking even, awake, and naturally radiant. Okay, so this is from Shein. It was less than $10. Anything you buy, like let's say it's $5, there's usually like $3 or $4 shipping, and it takes about 2 weeks to get here. It comes with its little sponge tip applicator, and so a little bit goes a long way. So I just dab it in under my eye, I dab it in on the side of my nose, I dab it into this crease right here, and then I try to get it right in the middle of my cheekbone, because when you have light, what a light does is pulls it to the surface, and dark pushes it in. So I want to pull my cheek out. I don't really want to pull my under eye out, but it does cover the darkness. Then I use my pinky finger, because it's your weakest finger, and I just start dabbing it in. I'm going to switch commercial, get the commercial off. Okay, so I get freckles right here, so I just kind of cover all that up, and I'm mostly just blending in this area to make my cheek look more narrow here, and by bringing this out, and then I'll use a darker blush to pull this in. I'm not a professional. I don't know how to do all those fancy concealers. There are some people who can use the concealer so well that they can take anybody's face and make it look like a movie star. I don't know how to do all that. I just do a basic 101 makeup. Takes me 10 minutes when I'm not trying to explain it, and then I'm out the door. So I put a little bit on my chin, a little bit between my eye, because I'm a little bit red there. And anywhere you have a flaw, like right here I have an age spot, so I'll put a little there, okay? And then I just stipple it in with my finger. And then I blend out the edges, you know, so that you don't see the racing stripes, or you don't see where it was applied. And if I put too much, then I just kind of have to spread it more around, because a little bit is all you need. Yeah, sometimes I use way too much. So concealers, because I don't put on a lot of makeup often, I don't go a lot of places, can last me a long time. But if you used it every day, I imagine this would last maybe 3 months, because you just use a little tiny bit, and that's using it every day. You probably get a longer use out of it. Then I get right up in the mirror and make sure all the little blended areas are blended. I make sure I don't have any lines under the eyes in the lines. Sometimes I get some darkness here, so I might want to put a little extra up there. Okay. Also too, I did a video on how I enhance my hairline with a hair powder. I was using this hair powder in my previous video with a brush to kind of, it can take away the gray, and it can cover up spots. I get this from Shein too, and it's less than $10, and this is called light brown. But sometimes a little bit of the darkness might get right here, and so that's why I'm kind of covering that up. You know, it might have fallen down on my forehead, so I just cover that up. And any of the hair powder that you can see in the mirror, because I'm seeing it, I just blend it out with a brush. I just kind of get it off the scalp and get it blended better with the brush. Sometimes that can be the most challenging part, is you don't really want it to show on the scalp. So sometimes that can be what's most time consuming, is just making sure your line right here is not real caked. Then I might have to go back in and with a little more hair gel to put this down. Okay. And then when you get right in the mirror, you start to really see more of those gray hairs. So then I take a little bit more of my powder. Nobody's gonna get this close to me, you know. It's not that big of a deal, but I'm just showing you what I do. So I use the hair powder. The bottom just fell off. I'll pick it up later. And get all that gray covered up, because the roots right there turn gray pretty quick. Anyway, it's a fast way to fill in your hair color in between coloring. Okay. Oh, I didn't know the camera fell. I'm having a difficult time right now. I'm having technical difficulties. Okay, so the second thing I do, and I don't even put on a foundation. So the second thing I do is I use a powder, mostly to take away any oily areas, especially under my eye, so the makeup doesn't smear under the eye on the oily area, because the concealer might be oily, but I'm oily. And then I put a little powder around the nose, because I get oily there, and so the powder helps absorb it throughout the day. This is a powder that I'm using. It's called SheGlam, and it's your 3 colors of concealer powder, which helps cover flaws. So I'm not technical on this, but basically the blue covers any kind of redness, the yellow covers any kind of darkness, and the pink just gives you a brighter complexion. So what I do, and it comes with a sponge, what I do is I just take a little tiny bit in the lid, not even much, and I don't even really worry about mixing all three together, but you can. And then I just go in and fill in around my nose and under my eyes. I don't even get way down here because this is kind of dry and I don't want to dry it out even more. Basically, I'm just getting right under the eye where the mascara would touch and smear to kind of dry it up a bit. And it also kind of pops out a little bit brighter concealed look too. So it does help with concealing as well. So just make sure it's all blended in. Plus, I make sure that I don't have any lines showing under my eye because I'm an older woman. I have lines under there. So I try to make sure that the powder smooths out some of the lines. If you wanted to, you can even use it as a base for your eyeshadow to cover up the veins on your eyes before you put your eyeshadow on. If you wanted to. I don't normally do this, but you could. You could even use this for an eyeshadow. Like if you just want a smooth palette, you don't really want to look like you're wearing makeup, you could just put it on your eyes and then just leave it like that. One thing about the YouTube is lots of commercials. Okay, so after that, the next thing I put on is my blush. Okay, so the blush that I love is this one by Wet n Wild. I get it from the Dollar General or Walmart. It comes in 3 different shades. It's got your like a pink, a gold, like a white, and a champagne. They have one with the darker pink, one with like all kind of browns, and then one with a lighter pink. Right now I'm using the one with a lighter pink, and I didn't want to show it because it's old and it's looks used, but that's the one I'm using right now. And I take an angled brush, this is my favorite brush. I actually got this from Bare Minerals years ago, and it just ended up being just my favorite brush. I can't seem to find a way to replace this one. I like the way it fits in my hand. It's ergonomically good for me to grip good. I just like it. And I don't think they sell it anymore. Okay, but anyway, just get you an angled brush. Okay, then I'm going to go into the 2 darker colors with the brush, these 2. So I'm going to go in just up and down like this with the 2 darker stripes, just right down the middle. Then I just get underneath the cheekbone and just brush that up to kind of make it look like I'm sinking this in with the darker color to the hairline to give myself a more of a cheekbone. For a full face or a full figured woman, this is a way to make your face look a little bit more narrow. Okay, so I bring that all in there like that, and sometimes I don't get them even, and I don't worry about it because this is not a professional thing, and I don't really worry about it, and I sometimes don't even get my eyes even. Then I take the tip and I squeeze it together sometimes, but first I go into the 2 lighter colors, these colors here, these 2. I go right down the middle and get it just on the tip. Okay, then I just go in and bring it and blend it down on the darker color. And I want to get it on the top because I want to pull that out and push this in. Then I get up there really, really close and make sure everything's blended and there's no racing stripes. Blending is the key, okay? And if I feel like I got anything too heavy, I'll just go in with this correcting powder and fix anything I feel like is too heavy, which I'll do in just a minute. Then I take the edge and I squeeze it together, okay? Well, first I get it on the brush, the two lighter colors on the brush. Squeeze it together, and I just do a little line right here down the middle. It brings in highlights right here. Get a little more. I bring it down the middle of the nose. It brings this part out and pushes this part in. If your nose maybe is a little too wide, you can make it look more narrow just by putting a lighter color down here. Like I said, I'm not real technical on all the highlights and lowlights and everything, but this is just a basic 101 of what I do. I put a little on my chin, and I put a little on Cupid's bow right here, like that, okay? Then I make sure it's all blended in, and I might even use my finger to just make sure that it's not real, that you don't really notice it on the edges. And I get it out of the lines in my forehead just with my finger. Okay, then anything that I feel like it's too dark, like maybe this right here in the mirror is too dark right here. You can't tell on the camera. On the camera, it seems like the darker, the better. But in real life, I can see that this is kind of too dark compared to this side. So then I'll take my blending powder, put a little in the thing, and I'll even use the sponge and just kind of dilute it. So it's not so dark. Okay. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is my eyes. And again, my hair got a little fuzzy using that brush. I would go back in and put some hair gel right there just to make that more smooth. But I use the eyeshadow that matches my outfit, and I'm wearing sort of kind of like a leopard color, so I'm gonna wear browns and beiges, okay? But I like to wear whatever's matching my outfit, so you can get you a color palette from anywhere. So Marshalls and TJ Maxx has the best ones at Christmas time, and also Burlington, but Walmart has them too. Just get you every color, because I like to match them with my outfit. But since I'm just doing browns, I have a brown palette, and I'm just gonna pick two colors. I'm gonna pick a lighter color and a medium brown, and I'm gonna just do a basic eye. And my favorite brush is this brush that's dual edged. So I got the flat end on this side, just wiping off the color from yesterday, because yesterday I used blue, and then the fluffy end on this side. Okay, so what I do is I take the fluffy end and I get into one of the lighter colors. Okay, I'm gonna use this light color right here. So I just get it all over my brush and just put it all over my eye. Like I said, there are people who get really fancy with their eyeshadows. If I do that, I'm gonna take, I've worked on my eyes for an hour. You know, you can really start blending and mixing and adding, but for just a quick look to get out the door, I just use two colors. Okay, so now I'm gonna pick a medium brown to go just in the crease and use the flat side of the brush. So I'm gonna use this color right here. It's just a medium brown. Get it on the brush, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it in the middle and then kind of a sideways V on the side. So I'm gonna start it, and then I'll try and show you in the camera. And when you're new at this or not used to it, just use lighter colors, because then you sort of can't really make a mistake. And then when you get more well versed on how to do this, you can go to the darker colors. Okay, so what I've done is I've went sideways down like this with this, and then down the middle. So it's kind of like and I put a little point right here, kind of like trying to mimic like a little, maybe a little cat eye a little bit. But because my eyes are hooded, I can't really do the cat eye like I'd like to, or maybe I could if I knew how. I'm still watching videos on that. But basically I just do in the crease with the darker color, and then just a sideways V right there. So that's all that I'm doing. Again, trying to exit out of the commercials. Blending is the key. You want to make sure that you don't see any edges. And I rarely get both of my eyes even. But you know what? I don't worry about it because I wear glasses, so you can't really tell. But anyway, I'm going down this side right here and then across the middle. Okay, and if I got too much, I would just go back over it with the lighter color to dull it down. Okay, so I feel like it's a little bit too dark. Actually, it's not. It actually came out pretty good. I actually like it. But sometimes I do just want to pop another lighter color here in here. It just, to me, it just makes it, I don't know how to explain it, just makes it look better. So I'm going to take a little bit of this lighter color here and just put it just on the very top right here. I think I'm just trying to highlight this area a little better. And then I take the lighter color too and make sure I get it really good in the crease right here and along the top, because I think when I pop that little crease with a little lighter color, it pulls the eye out a little more right there, so it's not so sunken in. So just a little light right there and a little light across there, a little light right there, a little light across there, and that's it for that eyeshadow. Okay, so the next thing I use is my eyeliners. I get these from Shein, and they're called Handaiyan, Handaiyan. These are less than $10. They're waterproof cream gel liners, and they come in a lot of different colors. And I'll usually pick two colors that match my outfit. So I'm wearing like a brown, black, and a beige. So what I'll do is I'll pull out like a brown and a beige is what I'm gonna do. I'm not even sure if they have brown in this collection. I might have to go to another, I'm gonna have to probably go to another source of my eyeliners. Hold on just a second. I've got to get into my bag down here and pull out a brown. I actually want to wear a brown. I also got these from Shein because I love to play. It's called Choose Rasme, R-A-S-M-E, Intense Eye and Lip Liner Pencils. You can use these for the eyes and the lips. Again, it was less than $10, and it, you know, this pack has a brown, and so I'm going to use like a brown and a gold. But they have so many fun colors. Look at that. Okay, so this is how I like to be creative, but I'm going to use a brown and a gold. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do, and you see how I like to use the soft pencils, and so the first thing I'm going to do is the bottom. I'm going to do the bottom I'm going to do the bottom halfway with brown and the top halfway with brown, but I'm going to do it catty cornered. I'm going to do the brown here to here, and then up on the top I'm going to do the brown here to here. Then I'm going to take the gold and do the opposite. I'm going to do, you know, kind of making it diagonal. So and I just experiment with different ways. I don't always do this. Sometimes I just do one color all the way around. But this is just the latest little thing I'm doing. And because I have a hooded eye, I can't do the cat eye like I like. So I just do a little tiny tail that goes up. I want to make sure it goes up on the end. Because if I pull the cat eye down, it makes my eye look droopy. So you want to pull this part up to make it look, pull it up, make it look lifted. It's an illusion. Okay, so I did the outer corner with the brown, and I'm going to do the inner corner with the brown. And now I'm going to do the other one. And I don't put on a lot. I use just a little tiny bit and try to get as close to the lashes as I can. I don't go real dark unless I'm going to be out in the nighttime. I just do a basic light line, and I try to do a little tail on the ends. But because I have a lot of wrinkles in here, I can't really get a straight line because I got too much wrinkles right here. So I just put a little tiny tail there. Okay, so I kind of got it, you know, I got it catty cornered here and then here. Okay, now I'm going to take the other color, the gold, and do the opposite. Okay, I'm going to do I get confused, but I'm going to do the inner part where I didn't do the brown. And I will go over the brown, and it even kind of blends with the brown and lightens it just in the middle. And you know what? I'm just going to go from the outer corner to the middle where I didn't do it with the brown, with the gold. Okay, so I'm gonna try and explain what I did. Okay, so I did the gold here to here and here to here. But I also went over the brown with it to make it two-tone because it mutes out and softens the brown. And you know what? I just went all the way across on the top with the gold. Even over the brown, I went all the way across with the gold, and it just mutes out the brown. It just makes it look softer. Okay, so that's basically all that I've done, and I might have been confusing on that. But the next step I do is mascara. Okay, so the mascara that I'm using right now is it's called tubing mascara. I get it from Shein. It's called SheGlam. The SheGlam seems to be a pretty good line from Shein, the Chinese store online. Okay, so this is a tubing mascara. It's gentle on eyes that might irritate easily. It's a thin brush and it's a black color, and I start from the base of the eye and I go up. I don't even do the bottoms anymore because it smears. So I just do my top lashes. So like I said, I start from the bottom and I go to the top. like I said, it's a tubing mascara and it comes off with warm water. So what it's doing is it's just forming tubes of liquid that dries around each lash. And I always make mistakes, and I use a Q-tip to get the mistake. You see the difference? I don't know why this video has ended up being long. It's ended up being 35 minutes. I didn't want it to be that long. Oh, I think it's because the last time I did this, I broke the video in two. I hope I can get this video uploaded. So you want to make sure you get all the little crosshairs done and the clumps out. And then it comes off with warm water, and the eyeliner I remove with eye makeup remover that I get at Walmart. Okay, so there's my eyes, and any mistakes I would use, I would go in with a Q-tip, but I'm not going to worry about that right now because I kind of want to hurry up because this video is getting long. Okay, so the next thing I do is my lips, and I like to use several colors. Oh, you know, I think I forgot to do, I forgot to use the eyelash curler, because I do that, okay? That's a step that I forgot. It does help get my eyelashes looking longer when I use the eyelash curler. But right now, this is a BB lip plumper. I got this from Burlington during Christmas. It came in a pack of different shades. I think there was a red and a pink, and then this nude with a hint of mauve, and it's not very dark. So I'll put it on, kind of plump up the lips a little bit, because older women, the lips get more narrow. Then I always try to use like 3 or 4 colors. I just like to do that. This is like a nude with a hint of taupe or a mauve. These are called Mirenesse, MIRENESSE. You can go to mirenesse.com and they have these, and these are my favorite. These are about $21 a tube. You can get the little sample for cheaper, $10. And I love the colors. It's hard for me to find this color. Okay, this is my favorite color. To me, it's like a pink, a taupe, a mauve, and with a hint of purple, because that's kind of what a taupe is. This color is hard to find, but I absolutely love it, so I pay a little bit more, but they last me for forever. If you knew how long I had this, you would think I needed to throw it away. I mean, it's lasted me years, because I don't go very much out, and so I don't really need it, so it can last me a long time. So anyway, so I put it on, take my finger and make sure it's all even. And I don't use lip liners anymore because they started to break me out with little bumps because it was clogging my pores. I used to use them when I was younger, but now I can't seem to use them anymore, so I just stop. I don't bother with it. And so I put that on there like that, and then I get this natural light pink look, because my lips were kind of dark. If you remember, they were kind of like a dark burgundy-ish, reddish, pinkish, and I wanted to lighten it up. Okay, and so I put on the nude color, and it just gives me just an easy look. Like everything is, you almost kind of just look natural, like you don't have on a lot of makeup, you just look clean and fresh. And this is the look that I like. Then there's one more step that I do to kind of pop everything. And I hope I can find it. Okay, so from Shein, they have these wonderful glittery eyeshadows that you can also use on your lips. And this is one from Shein, and it's called the She Glam, and it's a frosty like eyeshadow type highlighter. And I like to just kind of put it in the middle of my lip right here, just to give me a pop. It gives me a pop of shimmer, and then I'll wipe the lipstick off with the Kleenex, and then I'll put it on the bottom of my eyelashes. Eyelid, and it pops my bottom lid out. And I love that pop of color. Another one they have this one in a tube, and they had like gold or champagne. This one's kind of purple, and I don't see the name of it, but sometimes I'll just put that in the middle. Just to kind of pop me a little frosty there. And then they also have the ones in the tube. But this is more like an eyeshadow that's two-tone that you're supposed to just be able to put on like that, and then it does the top and the bottom. I'm not going to get into this one right now, but that one's pretty too. And then there's one more thing I wanted to do, and then I'll let you go. This is also from She Glam. It's a highlighter. Let me see if I can read the bottom. Okay, it's called Pie Crust. It's kind of a brown, and the writing is too small. I cannot read that writing even with my glasses. But it's a brown color shimmer. Okay, and what I like to do is just put it on top of my cheek, and it makes my cheek shimmer. And I want to show you the difference. And I kind of just put it right in the middle, and then I blend it out with my finger. Do you see a difference? Maybe you can't. But I just love to add a little bit of shimmer to my eyes and to my lips and to my cheeks. I don't know. I just think it makes everything look just a little bit more finished, like putting a top coat on your nails to make them look finished. You can even go down your nose a little bit with it. You don't want to use a lot of this stuff. Anyway, that's all that I'm going to do for right now. That's a basic thing of how to do your makeup really quick. It took 43 minutes, but I tell you, I can do it in 10 minutes when I'm not trying to explain everything. So I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.